Oh, Boulder. Oh, you wanna go?
Yeah.
We ran a lot of dog last year, so I saw a lot of action that game. They aired it out. It was a fun game to be a part of.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't necessarily play in that game last year, but just watching from the sideline, they definitely aired it out. Definitely a more of a passing team. Just yeah.
Genesis, obviously, with the injury to Takario, Dwight had to come in and play a little bit in the game on Saturday. How would you describe him as a guy, as a player, and what he kind of brings to the defense?
Oh yeah, no, he's a great guy. He's ready to learn, ready to get in there. Got the next man up mentality. So he's been taking some reps, just getting familiar with the position again. He's been taking a lot of reps through fall camp, so I feel like he's prepared for whatever happens.
And then a lot of injuries in the secondary over the last couple of weeks. Just how much do you think that's affected you guys, and just what's the mindset moving forward?
Yeah, it's definitely affected us on the field, the leadership, but like I said, next man up. A lot of people got to step up in the secondary. A lot of new faces. Dahl, me, OG, Owen, Jack, we all got to step up back there. Just keep talking, communicating. You can never over-communicate, so I feel like that's helped us develop faster as well.
And in what ways has Dalton Johnson been a leader for the defense this year?
Oh, he's been super talkative out there. Just keeps everybody calm. He's a really good dude. I like him out there a lot.
Yesterday, Coach Atkins had mentioned about just the importance of playing team football and not having one side be doing so much more than the other. How do you guys on defense not look at the offense having struggles and inconsistency and go like, well, hey, we're doing our part? Like, how do you avoid thinking that way?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely complimentary football. We definitely don't want to get down on the offense. If things aren't going their way, just defense has got to step up and do their thing. Just hold them to less points.
Is there like an internal message with players that happens that the game happens at BYU, and then kind of just making sure you stay focused and shifting attention to Colorado?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. We definitely flushed the game from last week. Things happen, so we just flush it, move on to the next, and just don't let it dwell on us.
And then for either one of you, what's the challenge in facing, like you guys mentioned, such a pass-heavy team in Colorado?
Oh, you, Migo? Can you repeat the question? My bad.
Colorado style of offense, what's the challenge in facing that type of offense?
Oh yeah, no, they have great dudes on the offense. They got weapons on the outside, the inside. Quarterback, we know, possible first-round pick, definitely is a first-round pick. So they got weapons. They could air it out. They could do a lot of things. So we just got to go out there, mentally focus, communicate, and I think it'll be a good game.
David, just to follow on that, obviously Shadir has one of the more high-profile players in college football this year. What's exciting about facing a player like that for both of you, and how would you describe what you saw from him last year?
Yeah, no, he's super explosive, has a great arm, great ability to scramble. And I honestly love the games like this. I love the more viewers, more people watching. Just going against better people just brings the best out of us, I feel like. The better we go against, the better we play. So I like playing against that type of caliber of player.
So, after you guys gave up nearly 40 points against New Mexico, defense has gotten a lot better. What do you attribute that to? What do you think you guys have improved on the most?
I feel like just honing in and doing our job really, not like having players like getting out of themselves and like go try to make plays just because like we're down or anything. Just really doing our job and things will fall into place.
For either of you, both of you, is there anyone of the alumni that are expected to come that you're most looking forward to talking to and maybe picking their brain?
I really haven't looked at the alumni list. Really been just locked in on the game. But if I do see somebody out there that I recognize, I'll definitely try to pick their brain, talk to them.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I haven't looked at the alumni list, but if there's somebody out there that I recognize, then I'll definitely go talk to them.
So when Manu goes out and Gunnar is also out, those are the two communicators. How did you guys go about making sure that you guys were on the same page?
It's really just just goes back to the reps and practice. Just out there talking, getting comfortable with each other, building up that chemistry, and like next man up mentality. Kamu came in the game and he's taking a lot of reps, so he was comfortable going out there, and I had all the belief in the world that he could go out there and do his thing.
David, Genesis, obviously you were able to get that punch out there late in the game. just kind of describe that technique, how you work on it? Is that kind of, when you're going in for a tackle like that, is that the first thing you're trying to do, is get that punch out in that situation and see if you can get it?
Yeah, for sure. Just the situation in the game. I know we need the ball back. We tried to get the onside, didn't go our way. So we were just thinking ball in that situation. We practiced a lot of punch out drills, strip drills throughout the week. So just thinking ball.
So one of the matchups that we're going to see this week is Travis Hunter and T-Mac. As a defensive back, what's it like going up against T-Mac?
Oh, no, it's great. Like I said, the high-caliber players, you love to go against them because it just elevates your game as well. So I feel like that would be a really good matchup to see again.
Any more questions? All right, that's our time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thumbs up. Any questions for Coach Akina? Justin?
So some injuries in the secondary.
Just a few.
How much has that impacted the defense, and how do you view that group moving forward?
Well, I've said this in the past. That's part of the game. This is one of the biggest challenges I've had in my years. But it is the next man up. As I've shared, I'm not going to shortchange what Bobo and Gunner and all these guys have done. But, the guys that stepped up really did a heck of a job. We had, if you look at it, great fourth down stop, offense goes 90-plus yards. We have two opportunities to make plays, okay, that if you look, would have taken close to 14 points off the board. Well, we're there to make a play. And now our offense can feed off of that because, we have a chance to make two plays on picks. One, they end up scoring points. The other one play later, they get the first down, and then they score a touchdown. These are all hidden plays within the course of a football game. And those are the plays we did make at Utah, and it was very similar in the Tech game. So we got to constantly just work on that, do a takeaway circuit, and we just got to keep pressing that as coaches. Players are buying in. I'm not sure. We're still working to see who we got, and whoever can go, we will play. one of the things is when you start getting to backup players, because in today's stage of practicing, it's not quite like back in the day. Nobody cared about legs or how many hours you can work in a given week. Now, what can your backups execute, in these shorter work weekends? So that's all part of the coaching aspect when you start losing some guys, and start plugging in who can play where. Because I've always been built, I think you've heard me say it before, I'm not tied into a depth chart, I'm tied into the next best player. And which is kind of a different philosophy than maybe some secondary coaches or defensive coaches or offensive coaches.
David?
Obviously, one of those guys, Coach, that was pressed in was Demetrius Freeney. What do you like about his skill set and what potentially he could bring?
Well, he's a good athlete. He's learning. He was a quarterback in high school, very good athlete. So he's got good quickness, good speed. We still just got to keep learning the game. Some of the adjustments these guys did with the motions and all of that. So, but he's got a lot of upside. So he did a nice job for his first opportunity. I think they all did.
Brian, you kind of alluded to it about getting that practice time for backups and all that. And I guess in a situation like this where you're able to prepare for having a backup in there because someone is out, but what's the challenge when you have to put that guy in a game when Freeney comes in, or Latrell comes in, or Camu comes in? How much more of a challenge is that when they maybe didn't get a lot of reps?
Yeah. So, sometimes you got to cut back on what the initial game plan goes in. I think it's a little unrealistic. You're hopeful that you can keep the whole package going, but obviously Manu's got to get the majority of the reps, or Bobo's got to get the majority of the reps. I mean, that's where it's got to go. So then you got to just kind of get back, okay, Danny, what do you feel comfortable, with what we can do as we continue to grow? Because there'll be plays and a call that they may not got that play all week long, So it's one of the challenges, but that's why I always talk about you want to learn concepts, not just what the playbook says. You want to know how the whole defense is built. And some guys learn that maybe a little bit quicker than others. I got spoiled here. I think I've shared that before with you guys when I got here. The IQ of Stooks, Gunner, and Dalton and Manu, those inside pieces, was phenomenal. We got the stuff last year that we weren't able to get to in our early years at Texas or Stanford, which was, I thought, really unique. They spoiled me, But and we still demand the same out of the backup, and I lived that life myself as a backup player in college, so I understand those strains.
Jason?
You've coached a lot of TPs, obviously. Is there a way, like, Tucario is in the right position, really good corner, obviously, but the interceptions that are there, that he's dropped, how frustrating is that for you and him? Is there a way, a path to improving that, you think? Or? Yeah,
I think you just really got to get on that jugs machine. You got to keep finding ways. I think you can improve in ball skills. A lot of that is just a natural gift. Guys have great ball skills. So that's why part of my evaluation in recruiting now is I do look for players that are offensive players. I have signed just wide receivers that show extremely quickness and great ball skills because those plays out there at the corner position are valuable plays. Plus, it helps you on your time clock on finding the ball. Like we found one, the really good ones can pick up the flight of the ball here. So when I'm talking to a recruit, hey, have you played baseball? So Earl Thomas, for example, yeah, I did. What position? Center field. Beautiful. Because, see, now all their lives they've been taking fly balls and seeing the ball come off the bat, and they start finding a landing spot when it's here. Some guys can't feel the angle until it's here. You know what I'm saying? So that's where you see a lot of guys here. What Earl could do was right from here, bang, because he knew where the reception there. And that's a gift, So trying to feel that and continuing to work to get to your ball skills. I like guys that are punt returners. Once again, as I'm evaluating high school players, because now they see the flight of the ball up in the air. So part of that is a natural skill, but you can work on it, and not only these footballs. That's why I hear a DB coach at times when I go watch and the ball's out here, and I'll hear him say, "My fault, bad ball." No, because that's where they have to go catch the ball. You don't throw it at a DB right on his body. So there's all kind of little ways that us as coaches can work to develop that, but that's DB's job too, to work on those skills when nobody's watching in July and all of that.
Justin?
How do you game plan against a guy like Travis Hunter, and what stands out to you when you look at his tape?
Yeah, he's a good player. So, you gotta find ways to get two on him. What we used to do was say, like guys, like when I had Chris Mack, you talk about a natural, 22 interceptions in 3 years, that's phenomenal for a corner. That's just different. But sometimes you may try to match him with your best player, maybe sometimes you want to bracket it to him, but you want to find ways to not let their best player beat you. But, when you start getting into that now, you're taking somebody out of the run game too. When you start, one guy demands two. That's why I've always taught that football is a game of mathematics. A real hidden value that nobody really talks about is that nose guard that is so strong that demands the center and the guard. So now once one player demands two, that's what I call a twofer. When we used to have a grading system, that was worth 4 points, much like a pass breakup was worth the same. So you're trying to, but you got to give him the respect that he deserves. He's a good player. The quarterback's going to look for him, rightfully so. And they have other weapons. That's what really helps him too. They got other weapons that can go also, and the quarterback is, he's an outstanding player. Plus his legs can force you to at times cover him twice, which makes it a little more exciting for you.
David?
Coach Conley looked like a player last year who was kind of coming on and maybe in line for a bigger role this year, but Saturday was the first time he really played significantly. Where is he in his development, and what does he need to do to maybe be that player that we saw at the end of last year?
Yeah, well, he needs to just keep, working with Manu. What we did with Manu is we moved him to that Mike Backer position that he plays. So he's backing up a great football player right there for us. So he just needs to just continue to build. And when his opportunities come like that, to be ready to go. Helps him to also play more than one position. And that's what we've kind of done with Manu is, when it becomes next man up, if there's an injury, because Tay is really coming along too. So if something happens, if Kamo is at the Mike position, let's say the Tay goes down, now Manu, you put the pressure on the veteran to go learn more than one position. And you get the young guy just to learn one position. And then as his time goes on and, he gets good at something, then, let's go and start learning another position. So that was a good opportunity for him, much like Manny coming in a tough environment and playing at a high level.
Jason?
Without giving away strategy, when you have guys that are injured, is it tempting to be a little more aggressive on defense just because maybe the coverage ability isn't the same, or in terms of blitz?
So I should give you an answer that is opposite of what I'm thinking. I think I don't think you have just a built-in philosophy all the time. Maybe I did when I was an offensive coach, so I'll speak from the offensive side back in the day. I felt like if we were physically better than a team, we don't need bells and whistles. Let's just line up and just go play. I think if you're not as good, maybe you might have a reverse pass or something of that nature, where you might need something. On the defensive side of the ball, we're kind of, they kind of dictate and they're going to do what they do. They're going to throw the ball all over the yard. They're going to be in 10 personnel. And so we'll just see. First of all, we got to see who's going to be there. And then we'll kind of take it from there.
Last question to Justin.
So as a guy who's coached DBs for a while, what do you make of Deion Sanders, just his career and his path as a coach?
Yeah, Deion was a great player, so I've known Deion for a while when Chris was there with him, and then when Deion was coaching in Dallas, I used to go by his school. So I seen his son throw since I think he was in 9th grade is when I first went to go watch him, and the older one I think was a sophomore when he was coaching at one of the Dallas schools that he was at. I think he came down once when I was in Texas to come watch us practice, and he had a chance to visit with the boys. I got much respect for Deion. Great player. You know, he's doing a nice job, obviously. He's really built a brand there in Colorado, so it will be fun to see him again.
All right, that's our time.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Yep.